turned the car on in the garage, and my fucking porn came through the Bluetooth.
I heard Dean Blundell smokes crack. Was actually the first to smoke it with Rob Ford, I heard, too.
What's Dean got to do with it? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a Dean.
It's rated R for, restricted and for a little bit romantic.
What do we got?
What is that in the background?
What is that over there by the mic?
Is he making wallets?
What
is he doing?
What's he doing?
It looks like he's... Never mind.
What's he doing? What? Is he dead?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Shots in the series. Empty net. Tyler to Foley.
Yeah.
And it's 3-0 Montreal. Punch their ticket to win.
There you go. There you go, boys.
Look at him. Look on Dubass's face there.
Tyler Toffoli's the recipient, but it's the battle along the wall.
I have never enjoyed a Game 7 more in my life.
And it's the Canadians. Watch Stahl jump into this play and keep it right there. Misses
You know why it was so funny? Because
and then a chip
Leaf fans were so over the top about that. Yeah.
Yeah, we were so sure, weren't we?
Gonna take a run for the cup.
Yeah.
They get blown out in Game 7 by the Habs. Yeah.
Look at how sad. Look how sad Morgan Riley is. Sad faces of all these millionaires. Happy faces of Tyler Toffoli.
Oh my
Leafs
God.
lose yesterday.
Joe
Hi, everybody. Game
Thornton's
7.
Curse,
Yeah.
eh?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in curses. I do, however, believe that this team is destined for garbage. Year in, year out. It happened again yesterday. Welcome to the show. My name is Dean. That is John Guarnieri from Spirit Talk. That is James DiFiore from blackballmedia.ca and Lochlin Cross from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. It's the day after the Leafs lose in Game 7 to the Montreal Canadiens after being up 3-1. I think that this is worse than, and Johnny, you're a Boston guy, right? Yes. I think this is worse than that loss to Boston when they were up a few goals in the third period, because this is like it was a 3-1 lead. It was a series lead. It was a done deal. There was no way they were coming back for 3-1. It never happens. Boom, 3-2, boom, 3-3. And then they basically lost 3-dick with that empty net goal last night. And everybody in the city of Toronto is losing their fucking minds. And outside of a win, this is exactly what I wanted, fellas. I did. I'm enjoying this.
Darren almost called it because he wanted the reverse sweep. He wanted the Leafs to win the first 3, and then he wanted the Habs to win the last 4. Jeez. Almost happened.
Hard to believe.
Oh my God!
I think that there's something to be said for the fact that this. I think this season and last season have asterisks beside it. Like I think that COVID fucked up the season this year. It fucked up the season last year. Yeah. We're living on borrowed time. It's just weird. I mean, whoever's going to win is going to win. We all everyone sort of had the same. Actually, they didn't. The Canadian teams again
living on borrowed time. Like, are we dying? Do we not know something?
No. What I mean is that like everything about the hockey season was impacted so heavily by COVID, by the lack of fans, by the injuries. Like all these people in isolation all the time. There was no momentum time. It was hard for a lot of teams to get consistent. And I just don't think it's a typical season. I think the Leafs.
Yeah,
they're always sort of unlucky.
Been doing this for years.
Yeah, but this year it felt like and I know they say it every year, but I don't. But this year it felt like it wasn't the Leafs that got them. I feel like it was just the circumstance of the season that
I would like
them.
to point something out because James, I don't know why you're trying to make excuses for the Leafs. They lost to an awful Habs team.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why. I didn't watch a regular season game. I didn't watch a regular season game. because
Yeah,
because there was no fans.
I did, and this was a good season. I really got back into hockey this year. I've always been a hockey fan, but I really enjoyed, and I've been watching more playoff hockey than I think I have in years. So I understand what you're saying. No fan, you couldn't stand the piped. It was kind of like UFC. I watched one fight with no fans, and I was
at Fight Island when they did that whole
shit.
UFC Fight Island thing. Yeah, it was boring.
You could hear the punches, and then I just got over it, and I was like, hold on, there's something interesting about the fact that you can hear the fucking commentators. The fighters were chatting with the commentators. It was bizarre. Anyway, I kind of got over it, and I understand players, they get a boost from the fans and everything like that, but the thing with this year that I think the takeaway is the Canadian teams are fucking god awful. They have been for years. We seem to, and we do it here in Edmonton. I do it. Everyone's guilty of it. We prop these fucking teams up on a pedestal, and once they hit the fucking playoffs and they start playing teams from the South, it's over. It's over. It would have been over for so this loss to the Habs means nothing. It's pointless. You might as well give the cup to somebody from the United States now. And I don't know what the fuck happened. I have no idea why this has been such a thing, but I don't know why, if we've just got shittier players or shittier coaches, or I don't know what the fuck, but in Canada, we should be dominating hockey, and we just don't. Watch that Vegas team that's out now. They were unbelievable. The Florida team, they would have fucking beat every team in the North Division. They would have crushed them. They would have fucking destroyed them, and they're out. Yeah. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
I'm going to cheer for the Jets moving forward, but it's over. It's over. For
What's funny is that I had to disassociate myself from the game this year, specifically going into the playoffs. I don't know if anybody else does this, or it's called negative visualization. I literally had to do that. I had to imagine the Leafs not getting out of the first round. I had to imagine the Leafs losing Game 7 before the game yesterday, so that I wouldn't be surprised or full of anxiety or stress as we made our way through that game, which was just shit. It was like the worst fucking game out of the entire series, and they chose to fucking float that in the 7th game. Like,
I literally laughed out loud when that empty netter went in.
Oh,
I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
Dying laughing. I was watching the game with my son. He's like, let's watch Game 7, right? He's 15, didn't want to watch the game, not interested in hockey. But all of his buddies were watching Game 7, and I'm like, sure, come sit with me. We'll watch the game. It was 1-0. My kid looks at me, and he's like, Leafs suck. I've watched the game all year. Leafs suck. 2-0. He's like, fuck, this Leafs team blows, eh? I'm like, no, they didn't all year, but yeah, they're choosing to over a 7-game.
Send them to Edmonton. Now. 2 of the best players in the world, and watch them get swept out of the first round.
And then 3-0, the empty net goal. 3-0. And then Nylander scores, and he's like, how much time's left? I'm like, not enough time, dude. It's over. He's like, all right, I'm out of here. And I'm like, that's what I want to be when I watch these Leaf games from now on. Like, I want to be that guy that's like, no big deal. And it worked for me. So my point is this, is that, like, this has been 60 years in the making. More people should be using more Leaf fans should use negative visualization to be able to prepare for every season, because the same thing happens every year. We sit and talk about how great the team is and how great Austin Matthews is, and the core is phenomenal, and they're going to be great. They bring and then they're out in the first round. It happens every year. It wasn't a surprise when it happened against Washington, because the team wasn't supposed to be that good. Wasn't a surprise really when you lost to Boston, because Boston was a better team, and we had a ton of question marks going into the playoffs. But for 5 fucking straight years, this has been happening. 5 years on top of the 60 plus years that this has been happening, where you can't really get anywhere or get out. But it's the first round. We're not talking about a playoff run. We're talking about not having the ability to actually get out of the first round. And we've got a fan base, and this is the worst part, this elitist douchebag fan base full of fucking losers that have way more money than brains, that keep blowing their fucking wad on tickets to go and see this shit, or a new jersey that costs $700, or a third jersey for their kids so they can wear it for Game 7, and they lose again and again and again, and it looks fucking awesome on this fan base.
What did you call it? Negative what?
Negative visualization. So just
You
imagining.
give the worst advice.
It's great advice.
I love it.
Picture yourself failing. The blow will be cushioned by the
Never
expectation
believe
of
in
failure.
anything. And if a religious kid shows up to the fucking house, tell him God's not real.
Yeah, then call his mom and tell her she's a cunt. You know,
Tips from Dean. That's a new segment.
Listen, it worked for me though. Like I
That's
was watching.
fine.
It was
it's
three
bad
dick.
fucking advice. People need
it's
something
great
to believe
advice.
in.
It's
No,
great
it's not.
advice. It is excellent
I'm
advice.
getting behind Winnipeg, and I'm going to be crushed if they lose to the Habs.
I'm going to imagine the Habs losing to Winnipeg.
Thank you.
I'm gonna imagine Carey Price standing on his head again and winning. You guys laugh when I said Carey Price is the key to the whole series. It's his to lose. And then you laugh.
Dude, you're right.
Habs suck. Blah blah blah. And those weren't even predictions. I was just sort of pontificating. If they do win, it will probably be like this. But
I'm just really a big fan of the chaos that's happening in the city today. That's what I love.
The good thing is that in Western Canada, we never hear about the fucking Toronto sports teams. So it's completely being glossed over here, right? Like, fuck you guys.
That's what we get to Edmonton, if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, but not to this extent, right? Like every failure outside of Toronto isn't really a failure. It's just expected. If you fail, and here's the thing, is that Torontonians should have clued into the negative visualization stuff already, because this has been failure for like way over half a century, right? Like, what is the definition of crazy? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? No, I'm the one who's not crazy. I expect the same result every time, and I'm never upset by it. Last night, finished the game, turned it off, went into the kitchen, made myself a nice nighty-night tea. It's got like licorice root in it, and I went to bed. And guess what? I woke up this morning and I still didn't give a fuck because I just expected the negativity. So there you go.
Now let me ask you this, Dean. When you want something good to happen, whether it's your kid does something cool or your channel gets bigger, whatever, do you visualize the positive stuff too, or do you gravitate towards just the negative?
Always the negative.
Yeah, you're such a dick.
I'm fascinated by that.
He just doesn't want his competitors to know his secrets.
No. Listen, you guys, I've over the past several years, I've gotten into Stoicism. I've mentioned it a few times, and it's literally what they teach you to do is to imagine the worst possible scenario prior to going into said scenario.
This is awful advice. Awful advice. Didn't that guy that created
excellent
that
advice.
like
And
kill
dude,
thousands of people and
Yeah,
kill
it's
all
not
his
like
wives?
it's not like I don't want those wonderful things to happen. My point is that we always get let down by expectations, right? Like, we expect certain things to happen. Last night, if you expected the Leafs to win game 7, you got the same result. Guess what I got? No letdown. None. Because I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect the Leafs to win. I didn't expect Matthews to score. I didn't expect Martin to score. In fact, before the game, I was looking at Martin skating around with his mullet, and I was saying to myself, "You're shit." Probably not going to score today.
If they did win,
wasn't upset.
If they did win,
Someone's
how
gonna
would
light your
you
car on
have
fire.
reacted the same way?
Totally.
Totally,
because it's a thing, right? I'm not paying those guys to go and play the game. If they win, great, they move on. If they don't, I still get to have fun by talking about stuff like this. So it doesn't affect me either way, negatively or positively. What do I want my team to win? Of course, we all do. But am I going to put myself in a non-advantageous space of being mentally fucked up for a few days because my hockey team didn't win? Won't allow it.
I'm not saying you have, but I think I've never met anyone that gives worse advice than me. So this is fucking refreshing. I don't agree with you at all. I think there is a certain amount of thing you can learn from your disappointment. Mm-hmm. If things don't manifest themselves the way that you wanted them to, that's a lesson. You can walk away with something.
My point is nothing manifests itself the way we want it to ever. We have zero control over anything we do in this lifestyle other than setting our goals. That's it.
It's been 57 years since they won a cup. It's been 18 years since they got out of the first round. It's been about a quarter century since they've had a good goalie.
Yeah.
So isn't it an organizational issue more so than a team or a player issue?
I wished I cared enough to help
I
figure
blame
that one
Dean
out,
now.
Jamesy.
I blame Dean now, and that's like I think every Leaf fan should blame this cock moving forward because he manifested.
Because I didn't manifest a loss. No, you don't
totally
manifest
did.
losing.
You
That's impossible.
Totally did.
Here's the thing. There's no such thing as manifesting an outcome, and there is no such thing as asserting your will over things you don't control.
Who's this Stoic
I don't
guy
control
you've
the
been reading?
fucking
You need to flush that shit
Marcus
down the toilet.
Aurelius, brilliant. Seneca, brilliant. Epictetus,
Killed his
brilliant.
wife.
Maybe, but the jury's out. We don't know that for sure, or not.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's do this. Expectations, guys. Does anybody have any expectations for this week's supposed UFO document dump? You do, Locke?
I'm manifesting my expectations right now.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I hope nothing comes out.
You know what I'm imagining?
John, don't do that.
Exactly. Independence Day is what you're imagining.
I want a garage sale. I want a tent, flea market style. I want bodies. I want laser guns. I didn't even know about laser guns until last week when Dean brought it up. I want body part. I want alien dick. I want everything out on tables. And then just walking through going, all right, everybody, this happened on this date, this guy, we caught him when the anal probe went sideways and all this. I want all this stuff laid right
I don't
out.
think
John?
you're gonna get alien dick because as far as I can tell, they don't even have genitals.
No.
So you know what this means? And you know what this means? Because a lot of people think that aliens are us, but like evolved millions of years. It means that the trans lobby won.
Why would we go there?
John, what are we expecting this week? Are we expecting pictures? Are we expecting videos? Are we expecting to meet an alien? And when does it get dumped? When's the document get dumped?
It's after June 1st, correct?
June 6th, wasn't it? Wasn't the date June 6th?
Supposed to be.
Yeah. Or what's that, next Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either way, I do think there'll be a combination of visual and a lot of the stuff too has been released too. It's all been redacted and stuff like that. I do think some of those names will start being released, especially the testimonies and stuff. A lot of these sailors and military people who have had these documents and sightings on record, and whether it's visual or written, I think that stuff will come out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think you're going to see a video of a alien and a human in a room communicating. I also don't think you're going to see any type of like infrastructure or like, hey, you guys, we can all go to Area 51 and look at this exhibit now of alien aircraft.
They're not going to turn Area 51 into like a tourist destination.
Right. But I do think, and I know you guys are familiar with like Bob Lazar and people like that.
Yeah.
And like his whole shtick, and I don't mean that in a bad or the bad light. I just mean in terms of he said he worked on these certain aircraft and he has the pictures and stuff like that. I do think there is a fear where if something does come out that even borderline resembles everything Bob Lazar has discussed, it will lead to skepticism on the government's behalf in terms of they've been hiding this shit this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's
also, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I just read that it was supposed to, the report was supposed to be made public 180 days from December 27th, which would be the end of June. But the Washington Post reported that it probably won't arrive on time because agencies, they missed congressional reporting deadlines and things like that. So there'll probably be a delay till July, they think. So.
Before we see any
I
of this?
kept hearing June
They'll leak
6th.
out a whole
I
bunch
don't know
of
why.
stuff. They're going to leak out a whole bunch of stuff before that, but the bulk of the public report, the actual report, is not going to be made public until end of June at the earliest, but probably not till July.
I have a question, John. So we all know, I think everybody has a certain belief structure revolving around the fact that on some level, anybody that takes control of any government, whether it's Canada, the United States, or it doesn't matter, country in Europe, that quite often they're a figurehead. Quite often they're just sort of put there to appease the public and give them the sense that they had a say in how things are done. If there is a deep state and there is some semblance of it, and there are people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings,
of course,
where does it come from? Like, is it like, do they go to work at the Pentagon in the United States?
Or are you talking about the Men in Black?
No, I'm just, because it was the Pentagon that was in this bill.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are supposed to be presenting what they have. That Congress said to them, you need to tell us what you know and what you've been keeping from the general public with respect to UFOs.
By the way, they're called unidentified aerial phenomenon now, UAPs. They're not called UFOs. Yeah, UAPs.
So my question is, if there is this deep state and there is a group of people behind the scenes pulling strings, which most of us believe there's some semblance of that happening in the world that we live in.
I can't bring myself to believe that, but
do they work at the Pentagon? Are those the people? Are we going after the right group to tell us what we want to know about unidentified flying phenomenon?
Right. Now, I'll lead this by saying, I'll preface, there's a lot of these times people will say, oh, George Soros funds the deep state and all this stuff. And
I don't believe in that shit.
Okay, so you have those type of people that think that, but if you're referring to this declassification of stuff, you have all these 3-letter agencies, whether it's CEA or I'll just say CIA, because ATF, DA, they're not involved in this aspect of this intel collection.
Do Secret Service guys, former Secret Service guys like yourself, consider the CIA, FBI like the pussies of the government?
No, I mean, I would say there's a lot of
whatever. Okay, so how CIA pussies again?
How it sets up is that if there's ever a crime, let's say at the White House, there's anything Secret Service related, the FBI is the lead investigator for that for obvious reasons, so we don't contaminate our own whatever. And so there's kind of always that budding kind of like whatever it is, like a hockey game against each other or a baseball game, or there's that competition there.
Yeah.
But we'll always kind of, I don't know, like a lot of times you'll see like the FBI guys will talk about protection. It's like, just you guys go handle money or that crime scene. Like there's always that type of ego type stuff. But the CIA, like there's a lot, and I have a couple of friends that I know went through it. And when I talk to them, I don't ask them about what they do now because I know, but they also know that I know and won't ask. That CIA stuff there's a lot into that, where they have a lot of control of what comes out, comes in. And this goes back all the way through the MK Ultra, Vietnam, a lot of this stuff too, where it's like the mind control type stuff. And this is all general knowledge stuff out there. But when it comes to UFOs, there's agencies and people at that level, whether it's high military or civilian, and we're talking higher than SCI clearance, that are telling the people that we know, the figureheads, whether it's the head of the army or the head of Secretary of Defense or whatever, basically saying, hey, release this now, release this then, play by the rules. So I don't, because we're in a day and age now where anyone has access to social media or research and computers, and people are hacking everyone. And so this stuff is so high level that if you can hack a movie studio or a bank or a department store or whatever,
or a pipeline,
exactly. If you can hack that and be successful about it, you don't think there's people trying to hack this other stuff. So that's how high that stuff is. There's a better chance of every pipeline and grocery store being hacked and servers down than anyone hacking any intel when it comes to anything UFO or this high level of security. Because I do think there is they're protecting this idea, whether it's now while I'm friends with Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, his whole thing is about that the high up government and all these people are trying to put this story out there that the aliens are actually aggressive and they want domination and they want to fight and kill. where he's all about the consciousness and they can help each other communicate and stuff like that. So I do think they're trying to. I think there's a fear on their part where if all this information gets out, how are we going to react as a human race? Whether it's however, because if this comes out, and it's gonna eventually, you don't think people will start questioning what the
same Americans when hunting season starts that shoot at sounds?
Correct.
Those guys. I heard something. Boom. Those are the guys that are going to be like, fucking grab your guns, honey, because we're going shooting some aliens tonight. Like that's what we're talking about, right?
There's a lot of bullshit colliding too, right? Because look at all of the weird PR balancing acts that they have to do. They have this they have a national security responsibility, so that would include anything from because isn't there a theory that since we don't know what they are, that it is possible that another country just has the tech and we didn't know they had the tech, right? So if we start saying, that these are unidentified flying objects and they could be alien, I think we're stopping at the fact that they're unidentified flying objects or aerial phenomena. No one's trying to make a contention that these are aliens yet, right? So
that's what I find fucking unbelievable about this whole thing, to be honest with you, James and Locke and Johnny. What I find amazing is that they're still using this super generic language to talk about it, right? Like it's unidentified alien phenomena. No, the way that we've learned about aliens through movies is, do we get to see a body or not? Are we talking UFO spaceship? Do you have some of that? And it was funny because I think a couple of days ago, Obama said this. He was asked about UFOs, and he said, what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies. This is a fucking president, the guy that knows everything, that we don't know exactly what they are. Obama's comments add to the growing legitimacy of reports of UAPs and the government's awareness of them at high levels, appearing on The Late Show with James Corden. Why he would go on James Corden blows my mind. Right. Obama said, and I quote, "We can't explain how they move, their trajectory," he said. They did not have an easily explainable pattern, and so I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what this is. This is the guy who has all the answers, saying, hey, listen, it's something, and I'm not at liberty to say what it is.
I still don't think they have all the answers. I
hate to point it out.
They tell presidents a lot lot of things. They were lying to Trump on how many.
But this guy here to my left, he knows. He was Obama's Secret Service agent. He knows. Johnny.
To James's point, though, yeah, I think it'd be cool if these were aliens that literally gray man came down, high five, Reese's Pieces, all that bullshit. But what if they aren't? And what if they are another country's weapon system? That would scare me more than what an alien could or could not do. Because I know what other countries are capable of.
If an alien teamed up with Putin, you mean? If Putin's got some alien tech?
I mean, if we're talking an alien with Kim Jong-un and just they come together and start working on some advanced weapon system, it for me, the fact that they are saying that he's unidentified tells me that they know they're not man-made.
Yeah.
Because you can it's just, I don't know. I just find
and you would think the president of the United States would be able to have someone identify what it was that's
There's
unidentifiable
in this world that can look at plane wreckage from World War II in the bottom of the ocean just by the outline, tell you every single part of that plane. Yeah, you see something up in the air, military guys that are trained to find this stuff, and they don't know what that is. And it kind of blows my mind. I mean, what if it was Russia or I don't know what other world powers that could hide. Or exactly this technology where maybe they're advanced drones.
If there was even the slightest chance, John, we would have gone to war. Right?
Well, that's also why last time I was on here, we talked about why are other countries having a race to space. That's why it kind of fills back into that. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm always like, maybe these are real aliens, or maybe. And so
it could be American tech too, right?
That's 100%.
Yeah. So I mean, because that's what they did for half a century, is that they just put out disinformation campaigns to get the nut bars distracted on one side of the coin, and
I think there was a lot of unintended consequence of that. I think there was this idea that if they said it was a weather balloon, or that they were like, look over here, and I think they created this phenomenon of this conspiracy theory sort of mindset, and they kind of made it worse. And now we're living in this world where that has a predominant impact on a very growing subculture of the population in North America. Like,
well, their whole strategy,
fucking wingnuts out there.
Their whole strategy for so long was, we don't want to cause mass panic. And then in the middle of a pandemic, they're just like, yeah, UFOs exist.
Yeah.
You know?
Increased sightings too. I think up to 600% in Canada over the past year. These UFO sightings in the States. It's like, I know in the States it's similar. Couple of things that happened over the past little while. This happened just over Oregon. I'm going to play this video for you, and then we'll get to the one with off the USS, not Nimitz. Destroyer was
Omaha.
Omaha, was it Omaha?
I think so.
Omaha. I want to get to that one as well, but we'll get to that in just a second. But this is a sighting that happened in Oregon. I can't explain this. I don't know if you guys can, but it's fucking weird. Here you got a bunch of Y making a perfect Y. It's like these guys, the aliens, loved the village people as well. Waiting for the M.
Whoa! Maybe there's this big believer in radical vowels. Look at that shit.
Yeah. Wow. So that's in Oregon, and they were saying that might have been drones. They're really not too sure because they do, like drones, they can organize drones to be able to work like this, and they're not too sure what happened after the fact. But the one that really shook people is this USS Omaha video of you remember the Tic Tac thing, like the little Tic Tac job? Yeah.
No.
Sorry, let me stop this. I'm going to play this for you again. Jeremy Corbell, who I think is coming on the show next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that a Blackballed thing, or is that us?
In about a week and a half, he was coming on Blackballed, but I'll put him on the show. I don't care.
Yeah, that'd be great. This was the he actually leaked this video from the government. I don't fucking know how these guys get the government videos, but it's a sweet deal. But I want you to watch this little bit. They still don't know what this is. Happened in 2019, taken off the deck of a destroyer. I want you to watch this UFO as it goes underwater, just for fun. Look at that. It's hovering.
Nazi
this
one's
one's been out for a couple weeks now.
The film was brought to you. The film was brought to you by Polaroid, by the way.
Watch this. There it goes. Boom. Underwater.
I've watched that video multiple times now, and the thing that I find interesting too is to listen to the guys that are watching the video of it. Like they're taping this thing live in real time, and so their conversation's interesting. They're like, "What is that?" Like, you can tell that these guys are blown away by what they're seeing, because
the Tic Tac video did that too, though, right? Like the Tic Tac video taken from the pilots were like doing shit like that, and like it looked like they were traveling like 5 feet under the water for a point.
Yeah, well, if I'm not mistaken, too, Johnny, that's the same instance, but just taken from different angles, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. John, is there any? I just want to ask you a question. Are there any of the because there's been a lot of weird footage in the last 20 years. You guys remember like the spiral in the sky in places like Russia and stuff like that? Has there any of these like sort of like total mystery footage? Has it come out that they've been sort of a hoax or anything? Like any of the more famous ones?
That I don't know. Because the problem is like that one we just saw where it looked like it could be the drones. If you see the new Spider-Man movie that came out 2 years ago, one that the bad guy Mysterio uses that type of drone technology to move around. I know it's possible because they had that at the Rio Olympics. I was there when I saw that stuff go down with the drones could make these crazy patterns. But I don't know. Like there's something to even the UFO footage or the Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster. Everyone's it's fake. But no one can honestly go out there and say with 100% authenticity that this stuff is fake. And that kind of gives a little sliver of hope that you just can't explain some of this stuff. I'm trying to think like, I don't know if you guys,
but part of me is like tired of these slivers of hope there, fellas. Like,
well, that's your negative.
I'm tired of everybody using the same
that's
camera.
Negative visualization. Yeah.
No, but like all we're getting, you reference the Bigfoot thing, and he's all grainy, and I can't remember the name of the comedian, but he's like, hey, maybe Bigfoot's just blurry in real life. but you got that blurry thing, and then you get blurry camera angles of UFOs in the sky. Then you get that blurry one from the deck of a warship that you would think would have cameras on it, where you're like, fuck, okay, we can see it. Like, we don't have any legit cameras like we have here of us doing this.
Someone call National Geographic, the fuckers that make those nature videos, right? Those nature movies. Point it at the sky and fucking don't move. Get that British fella to narrate. Unidentified flying object.
So like my point is this, is that these slivers are like so grainy that keep us coming back for more, because it's like we want it to be so true, so bad. And we all have different reasons for it. My theory is that if aliens actually come down to visit us, everybody will abandon religion and we'll be a much happier group of people.
Good luck with that.
Okay, now, first of all, if aliens ever came here and they're like humanoids, they're colonialists and they're probably going to kill us all. Like I have no faith in.
You think there's alien racists? Do you think aliens have colonialism?
Positivity overall.
No, you know what? No, you know this is what
staggering.
No. Listen. I think this will make sense. I'll break it down.
26 degrees outside. I could be out fucking drinking with the dog.
I'll break it down so you can understand.
Ruining my day.
Lochlin, listen to this. Okay, the way that we feel about the cows that we eat from Arby's.
Sure.
Is the way that aliens will feel about us, because they'll be so much more advanced. Their consciousness will be so much more advanced that they're not going to look at it like they're racist and murderers. They're going to be like, oh, look at these cows. Let's get rid of these cows and take this water and these minerals.
Based on what I've done to my body, no alien in their right mind would fucking eat this.
They need fuel.
No one would want to make a Lochlin and cheese sandwich.
No, that is not. I'm pretty sure I don't taste like bacon. My liver has destroyed the meat in my body.
But why would they come all the way here just to tell like cavemen, hey, we got your back? That doesn't.
I don't know. Maybe they see us as a somewhat intelligent species, and they want to find out why we're here and how we got here.
If they've been zipping around this planet for a couple hundred years, and I was watching Ancient Aliens the other night. You ever watch that show, Ancient Aliens? And I'm like, fuck it, it's awesome. Like they think aliens have been coming around for like 4,000 or 5,000 years. And building shit and doing shit.
I saw a funny meme the other day.
They've been coming around for like 4,000 years and they haven't wiped us out yet. It's not like they're going to start wiping us out right now or looking in our assholes for things.
A funny meme the other day that was like, why is it that every time something's not built by white people think aliens built it?
I don't know.
The interesting thing about the military, the people, they release the videos, they're not being released as they see them, right? So you're not seeing something in the age of TikTok. The videos that are being released now is all old stuff.
Oh, so like the grainy video of the Tic Tac going in the water is what they want us to see. They don't want to show us the real. Let me ask you this: why, since you just can't. There's certain procedures, whether you're in the government, military, you just can't release and film certain stuff without control of the narrative. And so what if these videos are actually really good videos that they have to pass the sniff test with the military and the 3-letter agencies and be like, hey, we can't stop this from coming out. Maybe, God forbid, someone else got footage or snuck footage. We'll release this, but we'll make this footage look somewhat suspect. Because we don't know. To James's point, all this stuff we always see is always bullshit, grainy, pinhole camera type crap. Right.
Why isn't Ansel Adams type people ever taking a picture of a landscape of the UFO? So I think
Where's Ansel Adams with his camera when you need him?
Right. Like, God damn it. And so I'm just.
It turns out that footage of Bigfoot was really just Sam Kennison after a long weekend.
Yeah. After some coke.
The Bigfoot video is hilarious. It's like the guy literally goes like this. He says hi.
Yeah, the guy that's rumored to be in it, the guy that claims that he was the guy that was hired by the film crew. Yeah, he's like, you can see my wallet in my back pants.
and the Nessie one was like a branch at the end of the day or something, wasn't it? Like something like that.
I don't know. I don't know, but like those are slivers too, Johnny, to me, right? Like, the little videos and stuff like that. So my point is this, is if they're going to actually unload the information in the next 30 days, it will be nice if the slivers weren't like grainy, shitty, IFDR videos. Like, it would be really nice if we could see like, paint job on the side of a UFO, So
I
Earth
won't
or,
be
Earth
happy
or
until
bust.
I get a flea market, like I said.
Well,
Fucking
here's
haul
the
them
thing,
out,
too.
put some
I mean,
tents up.
Yeah. I think there is definitely credence to everything happening, because if that was the case, anyone could go into Area 51 for a tour or walkthrough. There's a reason why that area, whether it's military, weapons, or whatever, you can't. There's a no-fly zone there, and so I
do you think it's psyops though a little bit? Like, do you think they've just are creating this kind of narrative and saying they're going to dump some stuff just to kind of freak us out and get us looking the other way?
It's a great distraction, I think, especially in the middle of a COVID pandemic where people are starting to question Fauci and all these doctors or the government itself. And so why not just kind of cross-contaminate everything and just throw it out there?
Yeah.
For like a week, there was like this theory that people were worried about Trump leaking classified information about the UFOs, and that's why it came out first.
And I do think that type of stuff, like, say what you want about whoever's president or whatever has access to stuff, you're just not going to do that. Like, you can't, you won't. It has to go through a policy, a procedure. But like, even, it's just super fascinating. Even nights and stuff where my friends that have worked at the Capitol or the White House or the Pentagon, like when you see weird stuff or whatever, like you do this crazy report, and that stuff all gets documented and stuff like that. People talk about it or they don't talk about it. And so these military guys on the aircrafts and stuff, what the footage you're seeing is not the footage they captured, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's really interesting. Every time you come on, John, you always say something that blows my mind.
I'm glad. That always happens,
happy
right?
about
Because like the plane that hit the Pentagon, I'm not trying to sound like a crazy person, but there was so much footage of that event that we haven't seen. We just saw the little firecracker go off in that one.
That's plane. Again, that obviously it's very sensitive and people, but I think because of COVID, the last 2 years, people are questioning anything or what they are. Now, does that mean the event doesn't happen? No, but people control what we know and see of that event. And it's just, I don't know. It's just that whole stuff from 9/11 too. I mean, having friends that, this is before I even was in the government, that years down the road, I start talking to them and they're like, hey, we were there for that day or this type of stuff. And so I don't know. It's super, the narrative is being controlled. But I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the footage that the military is capturing is not what we're being shown. I think they got really good footage, and that's kind of what it's all part of the declassification, where we're going to see a video of that triangle, that tic-tac shape, or that underwater thing. It'll be clear as fucking day. And
that pyramid footage was pretty good.
And I think
that's coming, eh?
It is. Yep. And I think it's going to scare the shit out of people. And I don't know if people are ready for. I mean, we can all hear. All four of us here can be like, we're ready. Of course, I think we are. But some people that say they are, there's some people that have their head so far up their own ass that they don't even realize their own neighborhood. And you're going to tell these people that there's stuff in another planet here. It's just, I hope it all comes out, and I think it will. But I don't think people are ready for it.
What about the ex-defense ministers, like the old Canadian defense minister who's like 1,000 years old, that said that we actually like have committees with alien races, and then the Israeli defense minister came out like I don't know 6 months ago or some shit, and said pretty much the same thing, and that the aliens regularly communicate with the United States and Israel for some reason.
I don't. What's crazy too is that you never hear someone currently in that role saying this. It's always the older guy that they can pass off as someone crazy or
who keeps sandwiches in his pocket without wrapping.
The guy that talks to his own hands, like they're whatever. But there's something to it, because
you never believe a guy that talks to his own hands like they're people, right?
No, but there is. I do think. I know last time we talked about the Space Force and the race to Mars, and we have all this stuff going on there. And it's fine. The other day, like I was just on tour, and we're just talking about. I think we're talking about Elon Musk and space race, and we're talking about 2001: Space Odyssey. We just watched it on the bus, and we're just talking about everything going on. And we just thought it was super weird, where it's like you have the rover, if the pictures of Mars and whatever, but there's only a handful of people that know what we're really doing up there. And so they send that press release out of footage to news outlets, and we're supposed to take that as face value. It just, it all goes to this whole thing where
it's going to be robot wars. That's what I think.
How come we're not back on Mars? Why aren't we on the moon? Why aren't we on the moon every day or doing more stuff up there? Or why are other countries?
I've said that 100 times, and like, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but like, we've been to the moon 50 years ago. You think we would have maybe made a return mission back to try and grab some shit? Now there's like this massive race, right? The guy that you're talking about.
On the moon?
I guess so. Yes. Well, you got to leave some shit behind, right?
Yeah.
Great. We're going to go mining on the moon. That'll work out well. Awesome.
But what I would do, if COVID, I would bring all these viruses, diseases up there and test them up there and see if they could actually jump from planet or whatever out of solar system. I mean, there's just so much stuff when it comes to science and the space exploration that we're not doing. Why the sudden rush to just get further away from Earth? Like, there's so much stuff right here.
The fellow that you're talking about, former Israeli space chief named Chaim Eshed, said the unidentified flying objects have been in contact from the something called the Galactic Federation. Normally I'd laugh when I read something like this.
The most L. Ron Hubbard thing I've ever heard.
Yes.
The Galactic Federation.
I've read about this guy. He is crazy, though. I think
he builds race cars out of his own feces, apparently, in his spare time. He's a little out there. The unidentified flying objects have not asked to publish that they were here. Humanity is not ready for them yet. He went on to say that it would break the fabric of the universe if people knew everything about the aliens and their agreement with the government. Eshed said cooperation agreements had been signed between species, including an underground base in the depth of Mars.
You know what that really is? They're afraid
where there are American astronauts and alien representatives.
They're afraid that the billions of people on Earth that believe in God are going to fucking go crazy because all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Muhammad and Moses and Jesus and whoever the fuck else. All that shit is fake, and aliens exist. Sorry about your luck. You know, like we're going to become.
They'll explain it away somehow. I mean,
he said at this American base in the middle of Mars, there's an American astronaut and some alien representatives that sit around and shoot the shit. There's an agreement between the U.S. government and aliens. They signed a contract to do experiments here. That's what they've been doing.
I like how the aliens sign contracts too. That's great.
Yeah, 3-year deals only. 3-year deals.
In perpetuity throughout the universe.
Right? Listen,
the Bobby Bonilla contract.
Listen, America, we're going to come down here and look inside the anuses of some of your citizens for a couple thousand years. Are you cool with that? Yeah, why not? Yeah, build a couple pyramids. We're good.
Yeah. We do worse to each other.
Yeah, do we ever, right? We're afraid of aliens and we're busy treating each other like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Well,
little alien fist.
What's in there?
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Yeah.
Apparently things are getting better.
Hey, when the aliens come down and they say to Dean, they go, "Hey, Dean, it's time. We got to look in your asshole." I'll be like this. They'll be like, "We got to do it, dude. We got to look into everyone's asshole. We've been looking in selective assholes for a couple hundred years."
Right.
So it turns out aliens are Catholic.
I might. Wow.
Jesus.
I might ask what it's in it for me.
A chocolate bar, just like all the priests gave the kids.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Is it a Mr. Big?
Is it one of those snack-sized Kit Kats?
Can't handle the Almond Joy. Keep that away from me.
Yeah.
Or a Turkish Delight. I won't do it if it's a Turkish Delight. That's what I'll tell
I can be talked into a Turkish Delight.
Can you really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I couldn't do a Snickers.
Underrated.
I do it for an Eat More. I'm one of the very few people that would let an alien look inside his asshole for an Eat More. That much I know.
I'm standing in line behind you.
Yeah, I don't mind Eat Mores. Yeah,
love them.
Yeah, I'd say like if an alien was like Eat More, I look in your asshole. I'd be like, all right. But if he's like Mr. Big, I get to look in your anus. I'd be
if they want to look in your asshole, you need poppers, not fucking.
A couple sour keys, some back pain medication, and you can go for it. But you best be believing that there's an Eat More in it for me,
poppers.
Fellas.
The aliens had to give you
fix
poppers.
My sciatic.
Can we look in your asshole? I don't know. Can you fix my back pain? If you can, I'm all in. and sort of a bum deal. Like we're not as a joke, but we're giving these like how are we already painting these guys as warmongering people that look in our bums and are coming for us? Like why can't we paint that way as like good people who might be normal?
They can't present it any other way because people.
Well, what happens
will
if
not
they come
respond.
down and they got the cure for cancer, dude? And we're like, no, we need to shoot you. And we're like, fuck.
Big Pharma won't let that happen. They'll shoot those aliens for sure.
There's too much to lose on Earth. Mankind can't handle the idea of a visit of from an alien species that actually doesn't have any ill intent. For somehow we always have to make we have to make them evil. I don't know why that is.
I think we'd be surprisingly fine with it because we're all so fucking like our screen time is so off the charts. We're just Netflix and YouTube and cell phones. Look, they admitted that UFOs are real, and we all went, like.
It's because I think most people already believe it. Like, and even the people that don't believe it kind of already believe it.
The biggest news story, like ever.
This would be if it wasn't now. Yeah, it'd be the fucking biggest news story in the world.
I can't believe it's not being treated bigger. I mean. Every time I see
COVID poisons everything. It really does. It poisons everything. So it poisons.
Tucker Carlson is doing daily segments on aliens.
And he's the most popular fucking. He's the most popular fucking nut job on cable news right now.
Yeah,
right? So.
Because people want to know, right? Like being alone in this universe for thousands of years, which we thought we were. And I was thinking about it the other day because I was studying how the white man came across the ocean. Stole everything from Canadian natives and the indigenous people. And I was thinking about, can you imagine living in Canada your whole life and all of a sudden these 3 boats or 4 boats from Spain pull up and you're like, fuck, what is going on here? Where are these things from? Who is broaching our shores? Like, it's going to be the same thing if indeed it does happen, where you can't believe, like it doesn't jive with anything we know. It's like kind of trying to understand where space ends. Our mind doesn't have a frame of reference where we can go, oh, this is how space works, or this is where those aliens are from. Like we just don't have it in us because we've never seen it, right? So anything that we understand from a very finite perspective. And I think that that's going to be the funny part, is watching like all the religious people, like the Vatican, Catholics, Christians, Muslims, all those people go, hold it, wait a second.
Yeah.
We didn't need to do the Crusades.
I thought it was a good idea to follow a prophet that married a 9-year-old girl. What the fuck is going on here?
Just throwing this out there. If they do land, don't take blankets from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll give us their alien pox. Yeah.
That's probably why we do that, right? Because we have this storyline, we have this narrative in front of us, and we have for centuries this conquer sort of mentality. So why would we not think that the exact same thing would happen to us? So we can't wrap our heads around.
They're either scientists or colonialists. I don't really think that these guys are just like,
there's no gray area.
A Sunday spaceship drive.
I'm with Dean.
Check out the sites,
You're not going to be able to convince me. It just the thing that they've been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. We've got artwork from back in the day that depicts. Isn't there a UFO in the Mona Lisa or something like that? Anyway,
yeah, but they didn't know what the Northern Lights were at certain points, and they probably thought that was something.
I just think it's been talked about for so long, James, that I think it's too much. It's too inconceivable to think that they would land here with the sole purpose of turning us into cattle for alien Arby's. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think we're like a petri dish, more like a petri dish. So they're like, hey,
we're like a lab.
Yeah, look at these look at these primitive people, kill each other with flying metal parts.
Are we that primitive though? I mean,
yes.
Dude, we have no idea how primitive we are, right,
we might
Johnny?
Be doing okay.
We only know what we know. Like, we only know this one life, this one thing that we don't think that there's life anywhere else. That's how fucking egotistical we are. Like, correct. we don't think that there's life on any other planet. Meanwhile, not really. I mean, not until we see it.
Well, we know that there's all
Not
these planets in the Goldilocks zone from different stars and everything like that. We know that there's planets that are, like Earth, and there's millions of them. We just have never been there, so we can't prove it. But we know that the same sort of conditions exist on countless other places, right?
Have you talked to a religious person recently?
I hope not. Not intentionally. Why?
No, you just seem to be well healed in the.
Listen, I'm not trying to say anything against religion.
Astrology.
But fuck God. Am I right? Fuck God.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But then there's the other question, right? Like, okay, well, where did those aliens come from? Is it the same God?
They're us from the future visiting themselves.
Yeah, they'll ask if they can share their God.
There'll be a New Testament.
Hey, can we share your God?
It'll include the alien probe
of the anus.
Yeah.
Why they keep looking in there, John? Do you know why?
I don't know.
Did Obama ask when you guys went and visited Area 51, where you won't tell us anything about it? Did Obama ask about any of that stuff? Like, listen, what's with the asshole?
I don't. That question was not asked.
No,
I don't know what the fascination with that whole thing is. Like, what was the first movie or TV show that portrayed?
Taken. Wasn't it?
Oh, that was Liam Neeson.
Fire in the Sky.
Yeah,
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. Which, if you've, I'm gonna get that guy on my podcast, but I read the book, and that's probably the most insane. But I think that's the first time where they actually showed, or he discussed aliens physically groping,
looking in his asshole.
Right, looking for answers.
Looking for answers in a bum.
And he woke up in the middle of it. It's interesting they let him go. Like that, like, let's say you believe that Fire in the Sky guy. I can't remember his name right now, but let's say you believe him.
That
John.
movie freaked me out too, by the way.
Yeah,
it was
there were like 8 other witnesses in different parts of the city too.
Yeah.
So
and they apparently they left quite a bit out. I mean, they were trying to Hollywood that movie, so I mean, obviously that story it needed some trimming and it needed some of the edges taken off of it. So there was some stuff left out because I've heard him interviewed after the fact. And but let's just say we believe him. In my mind, there's a better case to be made that they're here if they do show up for scientific purposes to figure out what kind of what they're dealing with on Earth.
Well, it's like us going.
How disappointed would they be if they looked in our assholes too? Like
Travis Walton.
They looked at Dean and were like, God, this guy is so negative. Throw this piece of shit back to the Earth.
Yeah. Worst Leaf fan ever.
This guy he's going to manifest me figuring his ass.
Doomed his team in the playoffs of 2021 with negative visualization.
Now, listen, here's the thing, boys. I'll negatively visualize having my bung piece probed by aliens. And if it happens, I won't be upset because I will have negatively visualized it. And to some extent, I would have expected it. Right.
Good luck with that.
While you guys are living this weird Pollyannish life, thinking that everything's fine, I'll be over here imagining everything bad happening all the time. And then I'll walk out my front door to maybe some bad things happening, but I will have expected them and be prepared for them. And if nothing bad happens, I'll be happy. So that's how I live my life. You guys can make fun of me all you like, but I am 100% prepped for this alien invasion on from the perspective of expectations. I've set them down here. I don't think that these guys are coming to kill us, but I'm expecting it.
Well, go fuck yourself because I'm getting a Turkish delight out of the whole thing.
All right, boys, I'll let you go. Thanks for doing this, guys.
It was good to see you, John.
Yeah.
Yes, nice to meet you too, James.
Do you expect anything, John, in the next month? Like, do you expect in the next month we might see some pictures of aliens?
I don't know. I'm in a couple of group texts with some of my buddies, and we always. There's a couple people in the group text that are still kind of, I'll say they're still in it. But that's really all I'll say. But so the minute it does, stuff comes out where I'll probably get a heads up before it drops. So
John, there was just one, I have a question because I just always wanted to ask a Secret Service guy this. That's what you used to do, right?
Yes. Yep.
So were the prostitutes directly on the payroll?
So if we're in Colombia, it depends if we're in New Jersey. Yeah.
Oh God.
It's all intel gathering.
Yeah.
By the way, I've asked you this before, John. I'll ask you again. Just can you throw me into that text group? Just call me Turkish Delight. I'll send you my number.
Like, oh, this is the asshole guy.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I want to get in on that group.
Chocolate bar out of it.
You can call me Mr. Big. You can call me Mr. Big. That's
James can be eat more.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
I am God.
Obviously, I'm the peanut guy, right?
I do think stuff will come.
You think what?
I do think stuff will start coming more so than what's been released.
Well, it would be nice.
I don't think they'll ever talk about aliens themselves. I think that they'll leave it open-ended about the tech. And
Correct.
I think that's what we're going to get.
It'd be nice if they presented one. You know, they just brought one out, like, you know, how they do at the ESPYs, where they bring out someone for like a lifetime achievement award. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, this guy has been on this planet for 223 years.
Larry.
There's also a lot of money in not. They would lose a lot of money if they tell people what something really is too. Because look at the JFK stuff. Every year there's a documentary, there's a TV show, there's a movie, there's all this stuff that like you.
Yeah, are we supposed to be finding out about JFK pretty soon too?
Yeah, I mean that's
supposed to be.
It already came out, and basically.
There's like J. Harvey Oswald did it. Lee Harvey Oswald did it.
Well, we all know there's 3 shooters. But
Grassy Knoll Man.
Yeah.
The Smoking Man did it, didn't he?
Yeah, from X-Files, and FDR actually had him killed.
That's the problem. Over the years, I've gotten so confused by like these TV shows and reality. I don't know which is which anymore. Like my mind doesn't differentiate between the two because I watched X-Files for so many years.
But the thing is,
sometimes I'm reciting shit from X-Files like it's actually real life, and I'm like, "Hold on, was that a fucking episode?"
Yeah, but what if it is?
Do you guys remember all the
That's the thing, Johnny. Is it what if it is? Like we're at that point where there's a lot of what if these fucking things are real? And that's
the best place to hide information is right in front. I mean, a lot of people, if you go down the rabbit hole with Stanley Kubrick, especially when it comes to NASA and the moon landing, they actually hired him to direct and put together stuff with NASA. And if you watch The Shining and the documentary on The Shining, I think it's Room 333 or whatever it's called.
I gotta watch that.
He talks about in that movie. There's a lot of connections to the moon landing and NASA and space stuff. Where there's a lot of connections where we never even landed on the moon. He was just hired by NASA to film the moon landing because at the time, after 2001: Space Odyssey, and still to this day is one of the few movies that they don't. There's people that don't even know how he filmed it now, how he filmed it back then compared to how they film movies now. And there's something, I don't know. I do think that these movies and TV shows or whatever on Netflix, there's so much messages being put out there that I know a ton of people from the government. They're on movie sets that are just there to kind of act as liaisons to where are they getting their messages? Put this in here, put this out here. Everything is very subliminal. I do think there's something to that. But who's to say X-Files, that wasn't just the means to just slowly desensitize people to the idea of aliens or UFOs. Like, I mean, I hope none of those episodes come to life because some of them creep the shit out of me. But I do think you can hide a lot of stuff in plain sight.
Do you guys remember the footage from the satellites that were like orbiting the Earth, and there were all these little tiny saucers that you could see in the background, and they never reported that. Like the news organizations never talked about that at all. They just like someone released the satellite footage on YouTube, I think, and you're just like, holy shit, what is that? And then you try to find it on any media outlet, and you couldn't. I think this was like 10 years ago, or more than that, maybe 15 years ago, or something.
Yeah, they if something is too real, they will get that off. You won't find that again. That's why I'm surprised a lot of the stuff that I think is in social media or YouTube and for perpetuity or whatever. I do think there's a reason why it is, because anytime if any one of us saw something that was not that we just released, you're getting a knock on your door. I'm not going to say from who, but they're going to come and they're going to find out where exactly you were, what you saw, and who else saw us with you.
That video in Norway, that one disappeared quick.
Oh, well,
that guy that was in the cafeteria.
Yes, because they couldn't control the message or narrative on that, and they want to put but when I say they, it's these people we talked about that want to control the outcome.
The Men in Black
videos.
Yes. It's Men in Black, right? Yeah.
So it's
Will Smith.
real. You're not gonna. If you and I can all have the best camera phones, get it. We post something on TikTok, it's being taken down, and there will be someone at our doorstep.
I think it's hilarious how we think we have some control over this whole process, and we have none. Right? Somebody's like, "Oh, look at what I got with my camera. This is going to go viral for sure." 5 minutes later, some guy with a black hat shows up and goes, "Phone."
Well, it's always funny.
You don't remember this?
Even those military videos.
Here's a Turkish delight.
Here's your Kit Kat.
By the way, your ass might feel a little weird when you wake up. Don't worry about it.
You put an Arby's sandwich inside your ass for you, Lochlin. So you have something to do.
They're like, oh, this guy loves lettuce. So when you do this, when these military guys release these videos, they don't never put the officers' names.
Yeah,
it's always a military branch ship, and it's just super. You don't tell me that guy.
Tic Tac guy, they got the pilot. The actual pilot was the radar guy. Right?
He came out afterwards though. Like he came out years later.
They have to release. Like if I had to do, I think for me, if I had to talk about anything, it had to be 20 years after my last day to talk about anything. I would have.
So when was your last day?
Yeah, I'll be on the show. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's so these pilots, there's still a timeline they have to release and stuff. That's why you never see anything currently. If a guy on a ship right now in the Mediterranean Sea or the whatever released a video and saying, "Oh, this is current," you'll never see something that's current like that. Everything is predated or
Tic Tac was 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they're not gonna. And that right there should tell you everything, because if they're visiting in 2019 or 2001 or 1996, of course they're here right now. Someone right now is taking footage, really good footage of a UFO, and they are like, "Oh, here's the money." That thing will never see the light of day until they determine it can see the light of day.
Dude, James Cameron should just float around in a hot air balloon over the ocean for the rest of his life trying to find footage of this thing.
Right.
The way that my mind works is
we already got a good dose of that today.
Harder to believe.
I hate everyone.
I'm negative.
Just think negative thoughts, everybody. You'll be fine. You'll never be disappointed.
You'll always be happy.
Yeah.
You're never gonna win.
Buy my book.
I hate
You're all fucking losers.
You're gonna walk out of this house and everything's gonna be terrible. Yeah. Oh, dude, it works. I'm telling you, I personally have never been happier.
I look like Phil Donahue in The Matrix.
Fuck you, James.
That's one of your better ones, James.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
One of your better ones.
Yeah.
I've been holding on to that one.
You guys can You guys can make fun of my negative visualization all you want, but the world's greatest leaders do this. Okay, they visualize things going poorly.
All right, Trump.
No, he was the opposite. He would tell everybody how great things were, and they were fucking awful. Like, it's totally different. He does the exact opposite of what it. And then here's the thing: is that I never have to like go back and go, "Oh, did I say that? Did I say the Leafs would win that series and it should be no big deal?" Because I expected the loss, right? Like, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. I do the same thing. You guys are going to get fucking mad at me. But when it comes to seeing people I love, family, kids, and that kind of stuff, I will literally imagine, like in Marcus Aurelius, greatest leader in the history of leaders, he would say the same thing. When just one. And when he would put his kids down to bed, he would imagine them not waking up in the morning because he would be so happy.
You can't live like that. You can't live like this. The worst
like
advice I've
now,
ever heard.
You know?
Yeah. All right. Good night, son.
Hope you don't get decapitated while you're sleeping.
Yeah. You're going to bleed out in the night.
I hope I don't stab you. I hope I don't walk and stab you while I'm daydreaming.
Like I did your
mother. Buddy, I love you so much. I hope you don't get mugged in the middle of the night. Good night, kid.
Yeah.
No, you don't say those things. You don't like. You don't imagine the. You don't imagine the terribleness.
I hope no one strangles you in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys laugh, but I'm ready for the alien invasion, and you guys will be fucked. Maybe not John.
I already told you. I already told you how I'm handling it.
All right.
Bring a box of Turkish delights.
John will just have a human shield of prostitutes anyways. So it'll be fine.
Yeah, like 8 of them.
Good for you.
Male and female.
Yeah. Thanks, boys, for doing this. Appreciate it. I hope we get some good stuff. I really do.
I thought it was June 6th. I took this week off because I was getting ready for an early release. Now you just ruined it, John. Yeah.
I think
they never come out on time with the stuff they say they're going to come out with either.
I thought they were going to dump all this shit on us this week. I thought for sure.
Well, I think they're having a press conference, but the official report isn't going to be released until either the end of June or July. That's what they said. So.
And will it be redacted to death?
Yeah, for sure.
John?
Do you know when I expect it?
2026.
Never. So if it does come out, I'm happy. You guys are miserable, but because it'll be 5 years late.
Maybe the aliens will come from the future and let us know that in 1,000 years they finally release the information of their existence.
And they'll be like, that guy Dean over there, he knows what he's talking about. So start doing what he does. Okay.
Well, what if it's already out? We just have to find it.
We're the aliens, man.
Oh, like a Q drop, but for aliens. Yeah. What if we're the fucking aliens and we don't know it?
We are the aliens.
My God, that is incredible.
Turns out we've been looking for ourselves. What?
I think that was an X-Files episode.
Yeah, probably was. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Great to see y'all. All right. John Guarnieri, JM Guarnieri's podcast is called Spear Talk, and it is really, really good. He just got back from a tour with his friends in the band Shinedown. May have heard of him. Little rock outfit from the States. Pretty big. Like maybe one of the biggest rock bands going right now. Little tour.
Best rock cover of Simple Man.
Yes. Unbelievable.
They kill it.
But he's also got a series of podcasts which are excellent. And they talk a lot about the conspiracy theories world and a lot about the things that we've been discussing. And who do you have on this week?
I have the actor Michael Berryman from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
And the original Hills Have Eyes. And we talk about his dad was actually a naval surgeon that got sent into the Hiroshima explosion zone. But that's how he was born and how he looks the way he does, and because his dad brought the radiation. But we talk about movie roles and bullying as a kid, and he lived 10 years on a wolf sanctuary where he helped rescue wolves. And so we just talk about all sorts of stuff, but some of the stuff too, where it's like I reached out to him because of the Hills Have Eyes and all that, like the Devil's Rejects and some of these characters he plays. But there's a lot of in-depth to his character when it comes to pollution and conservation that kind of ties into some of the characters he plays, and to hear his side of it was really, really cool. And he's such a freaking rad dude. We talk about weird science, Double Dragon, all this X-Files stuff, the Motley Crue videos he was in. Just a really cool talk.
Cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. I always wondered, a guy like him, how he got movie roles, because he looked so unique, right? He had the big ears and the kind of weirdly shaped head and the eyes that were close together. But like, how do you answer those casting call ads? Looking for a guy that looks like this.
Yeah, his first big break was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he shares a story where he kind of talks about how Jack Nicholson and all these guys, the cast, had to literally get into character. They actually went to a real mental ward and hung out with these people for like a month or so, and they said it was the most insane, crazy. Like, just that's where they got the inspiration for a lot of their characters. They said the actual mental ward was absolutely insane. Like, they don't know how these people actually operate the way they do in real life.
I don't. They do it in a fucking ward of a mental hospital.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That was a great movie. I've recently watched that. Rewatched it after having not watched it for years. Yeah.
Really good movie. Yeah.
Martini.
So I'm excited for your podcast with Berryman. Make sure you check it out. You can go to Spear Talk, DeanBlundell.com, wherever you get your fine podcast. Blackballed is the name of James's podcast. It's really good. You can get that wherever you get your fine podcast, and at DeanBlundell.com as well. James DiFiore at James DiFiore on Twitter, and Lochlin Cross for 95.7 Cruise FM. He's got the week off, but he's spending some time with us still, which is
quality
really great.
Time is what I call it.
Thanks for doing this, guys.
New things to work on.
Negatively visualize the rest of your day and have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, because you expect nothing but terrible things. So if something good happens, you'll be cool.
See you tomorrow, boys.
All right. Talk to you soon. There you go. The fellas talking about UFOs coming back. They're making a big comeback. UFOs. They're coming back. Well, they're always here. I certainly hope that if there are UFOs and if there are aliens, they're nice. Be a real downer after all this if we're like, fuck, aliens are here. Yay. Oh, they want to eat us and look in your bums. No. If you can hear me, aliens, please be nice. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the podcast. You can get us anywhere you get your fine podcasts, including iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, etc. And you can sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. Thanks to our sponsors over at Easy Auto Financial, easyautofinancial.ca. Go there today. They'll set you up with financing and a car. Super easy to use, totally free of charge, no obligation at all. Easy Auto Financial gets you some financing for a vehicle, specifically if you got a hard time with financing. Year's been tough. Easyautofinancial.ca. Again, easyautofinancial.ca. Speaking of years being difficult, cannabis medication has never been more accessible, easier to get, specifically because of our friends at Black Rose Organics. Shop.blackroseorganics.com. Go there today, get your medical license online, report your medical license, and start shopping for medicine that works. They've got 30% THC on their garlic sherbet strains. And right now, when you get a medical membership at shop.blackroseorganics.com, you pay half price for those strains. Half price. Almost free. If it's free, it's for me. And that's almost free. So go to shop.blackroseorganics.com. Get your license. Start shopping. They'll even help you with your license. Go there today. Fill it all out. You're all good. They'll contact you, and then you start shopping for really inexpensive, excellent medicine, better medicine at a better price. Shop.blackroseorganics.com. And hi to our friends at Domination, DMNTN.com. Go to domination.com today, and they'll be able to help you when it comes to putting together all your content. Promos, commercials, all that stuff, domination.com, DMNTN.com. Check them out today. Use them for free, and you'll keep using them for life as it makes it so much easier. It's AI for the content creator, domination.com. Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. His underwear right now, boxer briefs, super comfortable boxer briefs because we're all at home. Hard to get these things. You don't want to go shopping. Lockdown's not done for another couple weeks. Order from Ed's. He'll send you a free pair of Gitch too when you use promo code GITCH3. That's your promo code. And you can shop for men's and boys clothing there as well. But right now, Gitch, that's his push, GITCH. Go there today, buy online, order online from my friend Ed, and he'll send them right to you. He's got a ton of different colors. Boxer briefs, Gitch, promo code GITCH3, pouch in the front, super breathable, no piling, none of that stuff. EdsFineImports.com. Have a great day. Sign up for a newsletter at DeanBlundell.com. We'll see you later. Go Leafs, go. Awesome. Aaron told us before we started this show that coconut water tastes a lot like semen. I've never tasted semen.
I
my whole life.
I think it's false.
No.
I think
I've had it before. I don't have any desire to have it now. That's for sure.
Coconut water?
Yeah, because Pfeiffer came.
Yeah, can you be more specific?
Yeah, just
might
the
want to
coconut water.
narrow down
it's
the
just the
discussion.
coconut water. I'm good with the semen.